Collab number 1.
Yeah.
How do you say collab in Spanish?
Colaboración.
Numero uno.
Yeah, there you go.
This is Elan.
Hi, I'm Elan. This is Bella.
Oh, yeah, because they didn't know that.
Yeah. Sorry, continue.
This is our room that we live in. This is Elan's bed. We don't actually like live in a forest. I don't know if maybe you thought that from the background.
It's pretty convincing, I know.
I have had a story written down on my list. I haven't wanted to talk about it because I'm embarrassed about it, but I figured to have a friend here to help me out would be a good thing. He can tell you one of his stories to make mine seem less bad.
That's the point of today.
So here
being embarrassed, but together.
Yep.
It's kind of like the point of life.
Yeah. Being embarrassed, but
together.
Yeah, that would have worked instead of 42. So, my story that I have to tell you is about how I lied to a cop. Wow! I know, right? I know.
Can you film this?
It's against the law to lie to a cop. But can they watch if
we'll find out.
If the Madison Police Department watches this video and sees me doing this, can they then...
Well, I feel like if you gave a very sincere public apology right now, they might not.
Okay, well then this is my very sincere public apology. So here's what happened. I was going to a murder mystery party in high school, and I had just gotten my driver's license. So I was on GDL, which means I could only have one person in the car with me at any given time. Unless I had family members, because they didn't count. For some reason.
They're not real people.
I don't really get why that is the thing. My friend Danny needed a ride home. And I was like, of course you can have a ride home, Danny. And what I didn't realize is that her brother was also at that party. And I can't just take Danny home and leave her little brother there and not take him home. But I had already agreed to give Danny a ride home. So I was like, you know what? It's a 10-minute drive home. Tonight is not the night that I'm gonna get pulled over. If you don't know, the town that this was in, it was called Cottage Grove in Wisconsin. And basically, the point of that town is to get as many people to get tickets as possible so that they can pay for their expensive lawns and buildings and renovations.
I would completely agree with that, having grown up there, yes.
There was a cop waiting by the intersection that I was pulling out of, and I did kind of a rolling stop, so I kind of stopped but didn't really stop, but I could see for like a quarter mile that there were no cars coming from either direction. So I like completed the turn with Danny in the front seat and her brother in the back seat. And then we hear the sirens, and I'm like, oh my god, is that for me? I'm the only person on the road, but like that's still what you say, I guess. So I pulled over. I was kind of freaking out because I have two people in my car. I know that they're gonna look at my license and see that on my file I'm on GDL, and basically if you get caught, you get your license taken away and you have to like start the process over again. So I was like, that's it. Like, I'm done. I didn't even start to formulate a plan. Literally, as the cop was walking up, like, I had no idea what I was gonna do. I had no idea, like, what was gonna come out of my mouth. So, the cop comes up, he looks at my driver's license, and he's kind of looking in the car with a suspicious look on his face, and he's like, he points to Danny, and he's like, who's that? And I was like, that's my sister. And then he points to the person in the back, he's like, who's that? My friend. I just said it. Like, honestly, I didn't even think, oh my god, I'm lying to a person from law enforcement. Like, that thought didn't go through my head.
You're just a natural criminal.
Yeah! And so, I got away with it. But then, there was this whole other process that you have to go through, which is the peer court system, which is like, have you ever been through that?
I've had to be in a peer court, not like as the one on trial, but like it's just not fun for anybody.
Yeah, so there's
nobody comes out of there with a good feeling in their heart.
No. So there's other students who make up the court, and they basically decide the punishment for the student. And so I had to show up for one of these court dates, and of course they make you do the like Everything I've said is truthful. What is that?
I swear to tell nothing but the truth, the
That-
whole truth, and nothing but.
So that may have been like the scariest experience of my life because I had to like not only lie to the cop but then kind of lie to the entire court.
Were any of the peers people you knew?
I don't think so. Like faces I knew from this high school, but like no one I knew personally. And I do remember the other thing is that like when I approached my mom that night after it happened, I was like kind of trying not to cry because I was like scared. And I explained what happened. And I was clearly like very like shaken up about it, and so she was trying to be nice. But I think she said like, I'm not condoning what you did. I'm not gonna say you did the right thing, but it's gonna be okay. And now at this point, like I'm so glad I did that. I think I'm actually proud of myself for like having that confidence in the split second to just like lie.
For having that instinct?
Yeah, that was just my pure instinct. It makes me feel like a badass. I mean, but no, cause like it's bad. You shouldn't lie. You shouldn't lie to a cop.
Don't lie to cops, children.
Don't lie to cops.
You'll get in trouble.
What about you? What have you got?
I have a similar story. So basically, I was a music director for a couple summers at a place in like central Wisconsin. Very nice. It was on a lake. It was absolutely gorgeous. But we usually end rehearsal during Tech Week or near Tech Week later in the evening around like 10 or 11, and since it was 2 hours away from where I lived, the drive home was usually long. So one night I was driving home, and not even 2 minutes after I left the place, I blazed through a stop sign. Like not even, like in retrospect, it wasn't even like I hesitated and was like, oh darn, I didn't stop. I didn't even pay attention to it. So like there was no way I was getting out of that one. And because it's a small town, there are cops everywhere. Everyone is a cop. So a cop car pulled up behind me, pulled me over, came to my window and everything, and he said, you know that was a stop sign, right? I was like, yeah, I'm sorry. And he's like, oh, okay, whatever, you're sorry.
He's
and
like,
then,
bitch, you just drove through it.
yeah, I'm like, I have no excuse. At this point, you already saw what I did. I know what I did. So, and then he's like, so where are you coming from? Like, trying to catch me in like were you out partying on a Tuesday night? And I was like, well, I'm a music director over at so-and-so resort, like literally a block away. I just got out. And he goes, oh, I have a daughter that performs in there sometimes. It's a good show there. Goes back to his car for a little bit, comes back, he's like, yeah, no, I'm just gonna let you go. You just be careful next time. So I'm like,
God.
Oh, that's so rad. That was so cool of this dude to like, he knows I'm only like trying to serve the community, make art appear in this community. So he lets me go. Literally the next day. It's another late night. We get out at 11 p.m. and I'm driving home to Cottage Grove through a place called Sun Prairie. It's more suburbs. And I blazed through a stoplight.
Elon!
I was very tired, okay?
That's even worse!
It was like 1:15 because I was so wiped out because I mean it's Tech Week and I'm a music director, so I'm doing a lot. So I blazed through a stoplight, and it's another small town, so of course there's another cop immediately behind me, pulls me over, and says, you know, you just blazed through a stoplight there. And at this point I'm like, oh my god, what is wrong with me? Am I a sociopath? This is the second time. And then I tell him, he's like, so where are you coming from? And I'm like, I'm coming from Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. I'm music director. It's been a very long week. It was a very late night.
Just repeating what you said. Just take notes from what you said the last day.
Yeah, exactly.
Repeat it.
Literally, I was just like reciting it by memory at that point. And then he says, oh yeah, me and my wife go up there every now and then. We see the performances every summer. Goes back to his car, comes back and says, listen, you weren't doing any harm. You just go home. So I was embarrassed. I definitely did wrong twice and endangered the lives of people twice and got let off for it. And I think I feel worse because I got let off for it twice. Because the universe was just like, hey, Elan, we won't give you any actual punishment of this, but you get to sit in that guilt for the next
it was like, that'll
however
be
many
enough.
years. Yeah, no, that's what I'm going to wake up in a cold sweat 20 years from now and remember that.
That's kind of like the mood of the Midwest. Like, oh, it's okay.
It's all right there. Just
sit
don't do it again.
Just dwell in the consequences of your own bad decisions.
Yeah. Just let the guilt eat you from the inside out.
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
You'll be fine. So, hope you've learned something. What you've learned is lie to the cops, drive through stop signs.
Because there's no punishment for it.
And, you'll just get away with it and you'll be good. No, that's not... So I'd just like to formally apologize to the police officer that I lied to.
I guess I'm sorry? I'm still sorry? I don't know. No, I feel no guilt. I feel no remorse.
You have to feel sorry to like whatever the higher power is.
I'll pray to Buddha.
Yeah, because karma, you know?
Yeah.
Someone's gonna run into you coming through a stoplight. That's your punishment. Anyway, this is Elan. Do you want to drop your Instagram or anything? To the 100 people who will watch this?
Yeah, if you want to follow my Instagram, I just started a new one called deciduous.art, where I'm gonna post photography, but also my band is Deciduous and I make music.
I don't know what morning will bring, but right now this is everything.
So check that out.
He makes really good
Yo.
music.
Thank you.
And you can subscribe to me, and you can do that by clicking
She makes good videos.
here. There's gonna be like a little bubble here. Well, no.
Click on, oh, okay.
Yeah. And I'm gonna make some more videos. I make a video every week, so click subscribe. Thank
You won't
very
regret
much.
it.
No, they'll definitely regret it.